Did you call bank? I called game.
Video was made possible and sponsored by MMOCS. Buy cheap NBA 2K MT at MMOCS.com. Use my promo code PACG and you can get a 5% discount. What's up, Pack Nation? It is Pack here, and as you can tell, this is only a discussion video because obviously I don't have my face cam, so that means discussion video. That's usually like the telltale sign in my videos. And today I wanted to talk about some news for NBA 2K19, something that's kind of happened and that's kind of controversial with the community, and I wanted to give my thoughts, what I think is good about it, what I think is garbage about it, and what's the right thing to do, right? So before I even talk about that, as you can see in the background, I'm playing my team. Yeah, I know I never play that game mode. I know it's weird, but I just wanted to try it out. I made the worst possible team in NBA 2K19 possible with all the worst My Team cards, put them on one team, and I was trying to win some games, and I actually did win some games. You'll see here that I played one game and then the guy quit on me. I don't know either if because he got salty or just because he just had to quit, but he quits the first game and I feel like that game was doing fine. It's the second game where I just get bodied by this dude, but of course he had the pink diamond Manu. What was I really gonna do? And Mela was cooking me, but I still tried to put up a fight and it was fun. And it was kind of cool because he was watching my videos in the background because I have my name is Pat Gaming YT, so I'm assuming he looked me up. So while we're playing and while he's beating me up, really, I can hear my videos in the background, and he was like, hey, and I was like, hey, it was like a cool thing. But enough of that. Also, quickly, join the Pack Nation, be an OG, subscribe. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. We just need 3,000 more. Remember that I'm doing a big giveaway when we get there, so be a homie and let's get there. Now, I want to talk about the thing that's happened in NBA 2K19 and also why I have this gameplay in the background technically. And that is that basically the distance in which shot contests are triggered. So let's say if I shoot an open three, the distance and when an open three is considered open and when it's considered contested, like lightly contested, heavily contested, was made much, much wider. So let's say I'm shooting a wide open three. Back then, if it was just a couple, maybe like a feet open, you had a wide open shot. But if now maybe it takes 2 feet or a foot and a half, the ratio for shots and contested have changed. So they're much more sensitive now if a player is close. So if you're playing in park, and let's say you shoot an open mid-range, maybe now it's considered a lightly contested mid-range. Unless there's like no one even close to you, like the whole court is wide open, it's gonna be probably lightly contested. Now, there's a couple reasons why they did that, and what I've noticed is that some people are really big fans of this and some people are just hating it and they just despise it and they think it's garbage. And I'm gonna tell you the negative and the positive side. So let's start with the negative, why this is bad for NBA 2K19. So I guess the first one that is kind of like a lame reason, but just 2K is technically a competitive sport. There are esports like doing 2K, there's all these leagues that are doing 2K, and people who play this game and are really used to it. Why change something so pretty important, I think? Why change it now? You should have changed this a long time ago when we were complaining months and months ago. Now when players are getting good at this game, realizing what it takes to do specific things, why change it now and then all of a sudden people who are doing competitive 2K get thrown off and have to adjust entirely how they play? That's a little frustrating. I think something they should have done a long time ago that wouldn't have, I think, frustrated people as much. Now, another negative part of it is it affects not only players that are primarily three-point shooters, because right now the most overpowered skill in 2K is three-point shooting. If you have an open three, it is guaranteed to go in. If you have Hall of Fame badges and like a high rating, you're gonna get a green light every single time, even if it's pretty far. And even if it's barely lightly contested, it's probably going to go in every single time. So the whole point was to make sure they wouldn't be able to have such easy baskets anymore. But what about players who don't have Hall of Fame badges? What if they only have silver badges? And what if their three-point rating is only an 80 overall? What's going to happen then? Those guys that made threes every other time, is it just going to be much harder now? Is it going to be much more ridiculous to make threes because the sensitivity is now much higher? Are they going to only be able to make wide open threes now? What's going to be going on there? They didn't realize how it's going to affect other builds. And that's just three-point shooters. Think about people who shoot mid-ranges. There's always going to be someone close to them, which means they're always going to be lightly contested, which means from now on, shooting mid-ranges is even worse than before. And then shooting layups, just trying to score layups, is going to be bad too, because you're always going to have someone contested according to 2K. There's already big centers who are missing pretty easy layups. Imagine what's going to happen now. It's going to be stupid frustrating for people. And another thing people are complaining about, I think, is that they think that there's much other things that they could have fixed. That passing in the lane is almost impossible without turning it over. You can miss wide open dunks, which very rarely happens in the NBA, but happens a little often in 2K. These are kind of big problems that haven't been fixed, but 2K kind of glanced these over and just focused on three-point shooting, which I agree, instead of balancing out the game. So for example, if three-point shooting is overpowered right now, why not bump up mid-range shooting and post scoring and maybe even slashers? Like, bump up these ratings and buff them up. Don't nerf one attribute that affects everyone, right? But there is some positives to this, and as I said before, the most overpowered build in 2K is three-point shooting. It's one of the most frustrating things in this game to play, especially in Park. If there's a center who gives you a screen and he pushes you, then the person you're guarding is going to hit his wide open three every single time, and they're going to beat you every single time. It's also almost impossible to guard these types of players. Because of this, the game becomes ridiculous, and so they finally fix that to where, hey, as long as you're close to the defender, it's going to be a little harder to make these shots, and it will make the game a little more entertaining and not as predictable as it's always been. And another positive thing is, hey, they're technically listening, because there were a lot of people that complained about three-point shooting, and they are attempting right now to try to fix something and make it better. I know it's not the greatest thing, but at least they're listening in some part, right? But those are really the only positives I'm seeing. I mean, it really only helps Park play, but when you think about play now online, when there's 5 defenders on the court at one moment, it's going to be much harder to make shots now, because it was already hard to make barely open shots, and now it's going to be even harder when a defender is pretty far away, but they're going to be considering it lightly contested. It's going to be frustrating, especially for Play Now Online, My Team, those kind of game modes, and I don't think they really took that into account. And also there's other builds that need to be fixed, and they never really touch those either. So these are some pretty important things that they're kind of glancing over, and they're changing a big part of the game that now it's been part of this specific 2K and its competitive scene, and you're changing it. It's not going to sit well. I think they just took a little too much time to fix these things. I know some people are really big fans of this. I know some people hate this a lot, so I expect this to be controversial for everyone. But that's why I ask, what do you think? What do you think specifically should have been done? I don't think that they should have changed the sensitivity of contested shots. I think what they should have done is lower the percentage of three-point shooting. So let's say perfect releases maybe should be a little more difficult to hit, and maybe perfect releases should only be made when you're wide open. If you're hitting fadeaway perfect release with the lightly contested, of course you're always going to make it because it's a green light. Why not just remove the green light situation, not make it as easy, and then lower the percentage for three-point shooters? I feel like that would have fixed a pretty good amount of stuff. Also, don't let the center shove people when they're giving them a screen. That's technically a foul. So why putting that in the game? That's dumb, and that's a big part of why this game is frustrating. They should have fixed those specific things. That's what I think. What do you guys think that they should have fixed specifically? And then what else do they need to fix? Because there's still a lot of things that they're missing to fix this game. Now I know that people are starting to play this game a lot less. That usually happens in 2K cycles. It starts off with a lot of people playing, and after a month or two, it drops significantly because of millions of reasons. They don't like how the gameplay is. The rating system is ridiculous. Like, trying to get to 99 overall is stupid hard. Some game modes bore them, and at the end of the day, every single new 2K is almost the same as the last one. So you kind of get bored because, like, I've been playing the same game for years and years and years. I get all that stuff. One thing I do want to mention is the only thing this doesn't affect is players that shoot good shots only. Players that are only shooting wide open, smart, intelligent baskets. That's not really going to affect their game. That's kind of what some of the arguments people were making. They were like, well, I only shoot good baskets. I know how to play basketball. I'm smart about it. So I never had this problem in the first place. So I don't have to worry about this buff or nerf anyways. And I kind of get that. I try to do that too in 2K, but sometimes remember that there's delay online. So if you press square, for example, to shoot, sometimes there's like a half-second delay before you actually shoot it. So you don't know if the player was planning on coming to you or going away from you, and that affects everything in 2K. How it's going to consider lightly contested and heavily contested and open shots is going to affect the game really ridiculously. I really hope that when it comes to sports games, in general, because FIFA, Madden, 2K, they all have the same problem. There's a slight delay when you play the game and you put inputs in the game, and that's always bothered me a little bit. So hopefully they fix that, because that's also a pretty big problem with this game. What do you guys think? Am I missing anything? Leave it in the comments below. Be an OG, join the PAG Nation, and let's get to 100,000 subscribers. See you guys next time.
Did you call back?